When my dad asked me to record this introduction, I didn't ask him why he was being honored, but rather for what organization. See, the challenge to me is trying to describe him in such a short amount of time. To his colleagues and friends, Keith Shapiro is a leading bankruptcy attorney, a generous and thoughtful philanthropist, and a dedicated lay leader of the Jewish and pro-Israel community. While his accomplishments are too numerous to list here, the time and energy he invests in the causes he believes in is boundless and one of his most admirable traits. I never take for granted everything my father has accomplished without the benefits and mentoring with which he has provided me. This is why I cannot think of anyone more worthy and deserving of this honor than my dad, Keith Shapiro.
It is my great pleasure and honor to introduce to you Pamela Rose, who is chairman of the board of JET. When Pamela gets involved in a cause she believes in, she really gets involved. She pours her personal energy and effort into making that cause a success. She loves Israel. She visits Israel often, and she supports causes that help Israel, such as AIPAC and the Jewish Federation. By creating future Jewish leaders through Jewish education, Pam is giving voice, a Jewish voice, to the future Jewish leaders of our community. Mazel tov, Pamela, on a well-deserved honor and continued hatzlacha in all your efforts for the Jewish community.
My name is Vicki Rivkin. I've known Phyllis Tabachnik for over 15 years. We started together on the Jewish Council for the Youth Services Board, and we're both very involved with that agency. Phyllis became the first female president of the board. We're very proud of her for that, and that's not her only accomplishment. She's been very involved in National BBYO as well as the Northwestern Hillel, and everything that she does and touches, she puts all of her heart into and is passionate and loves what she does. And Phyllis is just a role model for me and for the community. Congratulations.
You know, when I think of Lisa Newman, the thing that comes to mind is her passion. Lisa was a passionate person, and she brought that passion to everything in her life. She brought that passion to her family, to her friends, to her work, and as you know, she brought that passion to Shalva. Lisa's passion was of the animated kind. She did things. She acted on the things that she thought were right or that were important. I think it was also that animated passion that made Lisa such a good friend, a best friend to so many.
It's my pleasure to introduce to you Nina Stillman. Nina is an esteemed partner in the Labor and Employment Practice Group of the international law firm Morgan, Lewis & Bacchius. Now, as an attorney, Nina is well known nationally, but she's also well known for her civic and charitable activities, which she has pursued throughout her career. Nina's devoted much of her time and resources to mentoring, supporting, and empowering women, children, and young adults through education and other avenues. For example, she's a co-founder of the Jewish Federation's Executive and Professional Women's Network. She's also a passionate advocate for children as a member of the Board of Trustees at the Merit School of Music. Nina is a passionate advocate in every aspect of her life, and she makes those around her want to match her kindness, interest, and enthusiasm. So Nina, on behalf of the countless women, children, and others whom you have empowered through your professional, civic, and charitable endeavors, I thank you and congratulate you on this much-deserved honor.
Hi, my name is Michael Hoffman, and I'm really excited to introduce Dan Newbart tonight. Dan is a friend of mine, and he's been a friend for many years. Not a friend as in Facebook friend, but as in a friend as in the kind of friend who shows up to help you move. Dan has been that kind of friend for Shalva for many years as well. Dan does things for Shalva that we don't hear about very much, things like making sure everybody gets their email. Dan has probably saved Shalva hundreds of thousands of dollars over the last 10 years. And I'm really excited that Dan is finally getting an honor that he deserves. Mazel tov, Dan.
I'm happy to introduce my friend Merle Terry, whom I have known for about over 40 years. If I could say, I think a lot has changed over those years, but one thing that has been consistent for Merle is mitzvot. If your temple has a mitzvah day, well, Merle is the Fane Award-winning originator of a day of service for congregations. Merle has been long involved in her work with the Ark, ensuring for the past 20 years that they have a bag lunch program. She's worked with English as a second language, Chicago Action for Soviet Jews, as well as coordinating volunteers to go to Fourth Church and make dinners. If I had to sum up Merle in just a couple of words, I would say Mitzvah Day is not a one-day special event for Merle. Mitzvah Day is every day.
Marlis Levin is one of Shalva's angels. Every year, Marlis raises thousands of dollars for our clients by collecting old, used cell phones. We have visions of her sneaking into homes all over the Chicagoland area, looking in closets, under beds, and in dresser drawers for old, used cell phones. But Shalva is not the only recipient of this angel's good works. Shalva is collector extraordinaire, and her list of volunteer work reads like a list of who's who of social services. She works with area coffee houses and grocery stores to donate items for the Waukegan Soup Kitchen, as well as prepare, serve, and eat meals with the residents. She works with local luggage stores to donate suitcases for Luggage for Freedom, a program that provides luggage to women leaving domestic violence shelters. She's been an integral part of the National Council of Jewish Women's Court Watch program, and she is Cuddler Supreme at the Cradle, an adoption agency in Evanston. It is with great pleasure and humility that I introduce Marlis Levin.
I am pleased to introduce to you tonight Dawn Dalton, the Executive Director of the Chicago Metropolitan Battered Women's Network. She is here to accept the award on behalf of all of the domestic violence workers in the Chicagoland area. Dawn is the network's Executive Director. Some of you might not know that the network is the coalition of all of the domestic violence service providers, the allied professionals, and others working in the field throughout metropolitan Chicago. Because of her years of service to domestic violence victims and their children, Dawn is the perfect person to accept this award on behalf of all of the domestic violence workers, all of the women and a few very secure men who work days and nights to protect domestic violence victims and their children. Thank you.
Tonight, we symbolically present the Giving Voice Award to all of Shalva's clients. More than half of Shalva's clients have children, so they realize that they must reach out and get help, both to protect themselves and their children. They have to take the risks to reveal what's perhaps their most well-hidden secret in order for them and their children to begin to lead safer and more peaceful lives. Although it may have been the hardest thing they've ever done, each and every one of Shalva's clients has picked up the phone, called Shalva, and begun the long, difficult process of beginning to heal. Tonight, we salute all of Shalva's clients for doing what needs to be done to help themselves and their families. On behalf of the Board of Directors, I promise that we will continue to do whatever we can do to make sure that when an abuse victim reaches out for help, Shalva will be there to answer their call.